So we were pregnant with our first child, Bridget, and about 13 weeks into the pregnancy, I started experiencing complications and was rushed to the ER due to really heavy bleeding, and they diagnosed it as a subchorionic hemorrhage. And about a week before she was born, I was hospitalized due to increased bleeding. During that hospital stay, the doctors really did not have a very good prognosis for Bridget. My mom, who's actually a postpartum nurse at that same hospital, wanting to be a good Grammy and show her granddaughter love, she went home and started knitting a little blanket, and once she made the blanket, she realized it'd be very difficult to swaddle such a tiny baby in that blanket. And so God really just gave her the idea at that point to knit the sides up and turn it into a little cradle. And so that's really how the cradle was created. About a week later, that's when I went into labor and Bridget was stillborn. And at first the hospital staff swaddled her into traditional hospital blankets. And being only 13 ounces, we could just hardly see her, feel her weight, love on her. It was very, very difficult. But when my mom took the cradle out and we placed her in it, it really just changed everything for us.
Being a first-time father, I didn't really know what it would be like to hold my daughter, especially the fact that she was so small. And so having the cradle was a big blessing because it just gave me that comfort and that security.
It was very, very special to us. Probably the most comforting thing about the entire heartbreaking experience. In the weeks following Bridget's birth, we realized that there was a great need for families to have something special to hold their baby. We heard a lot of feedback from the nursing staff at our local hospital, and we knew that we wanted to help other families in our community. So my mom started knitting more cradles as part of her grieving and healing journey, and we donated them to our local hospital. A local news station did a story about us, and it actually aired nationwide. With that exposure, we realized there was a great need for the cradles nationwide in hospitals to care for these bereaved families and have something special and sacred to hold their tiny, precious baby.
You know, you always think this happens to other people who you don't know, but being in it firsthand and receiving that cradle and realizing this is the only thing my daughter will ever wear. You know, I will never get to put on an outfit that I had bought for her, and this will be it. But it was made specifically for her, and that makes it that much more special to know that somebody took their time to do this for our daughter, that someone took the time to pray ahead for our family and the next days and the next months and the next year that would come for us. That's very comforting in a time like that.
I think for me, the two things that come to mind about the cradle are kind of at the time of the delivery and the worst of your pain, it takes what seems like the nakedness and the coldness of death, and it kind of wraps a blanket of warmth around the babies. And I think then going forward, for us, we've chosen to keep the cradles in a prominent place. And so we feel close to these babies at a daily basis, and they'll always be a part of us. So we look forward to that reuniting in heaven with them, but until that time, these provide a sense of a link where we can remember when we were holding their little precious bodies.
For you created my inmost being. You knit me in my mother's womb. I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. At Bridget's Cradles, we believe that every baby is fearfully and wonderfully made by our Creator, and we want them to have a special and sacred place to be held in by their loving parents and families in the time that they're here on earth.